Welcome back, live from Just King's World on my hip hop ish. We present to you Dope Read. Dope Read is a collection of books that's designed to elevate your mind and thought process and elevate your whole self-awareness and make yourself a better person. We are definitely still reading 2 Chainz' book, but we are almost done. 2 Chainz' book is titled The Voice in My Head is God. We are going into chapter 16. Chapter 16 is called Ideas Are Currency. I've been in the music business for a long time. I've been grinding, working, really trying to make it for almost 2 decades. In the beginning, I would just put out mixtapes and build relationships with people to try to make things better for me and my family. I built a lot of relationships through selling weed. I actually sold weed to a lot of artists who came to Atlanta wanting to get high. Ludacris would make the connections because he worked on the radio. Anytime somebody came in town looking for weed, he would point them in my direction. I served and met a lot of people in the music industry before I even started to really take music seriously. Never would I approach them like I spit, I got bars. It never happened like that. It was really about the relationships. This one particular time, a long time ago, I was at Patchwork, the iconic recording studio in Atlanta. Back then, I would use my hustling money to book studio time at well-known studios where I knew a bunch of big-time artists would be. That was my way of getting in. Maybe I might run into them in the bathroom or cross paths in the hallway. During my session at Patchwork, I was working in the B room. And in the A room, which is the bigger room, Cash Money Records had a session going on. This is right after BG had gone away. And they were reorganizing Cash Money Records with Wayne. I was rapping in my session and then somebody came in and asked me if I had some weed. I was like, yeah, I always keep a little weed on me. They invited me into the A room, and that's basically how I met Baby from Cash Money. That day was the start of me becoming a part of the family. When I went over to the session, Baby was not smoking at the time. He was more of a drinker. I watched how he looked out for everybody in the studio. Plenty of food was ordered to make sure everybody was fed. I'm talking about all kinds of Chinese food, pizza, big boxes of chicken. Everybody was going to eat. I gave him 2 zips of weed. At that time, zips were $4.50 a piece. I remember him telling me, "Say Slim, I'm gonna get you, you know." I said, "Okay, no problem." Another time, he asked if I knew how to get to the mall. I'll never forget the white conversation van he was driving. He would literally drive the whole crew around. I told him how to get to South DeKalb Mall, and I ended up going with them. We pulled up to the mall and went to the fashion store. All the guys were in there just going crazy. They were picking up stuff, trying on stuff. I was just sitting there chilling. Baby told me, "Slim, you don't want to get nothing?" I was like, "Nah, I'm cool." Then one of the guys walked up on me like, "Boy, you better get something. Boy, you were tripping." I was watching dudes take off their clothes and walked in with and just leave them. Everybody was walking out in new clothes. At some point, I decided to grab a pair of Timberlands. I figured I might as well. Baby paid for the Timberlands. And I remember thinking, damn, my pops ain't even did nothing like that for me in a minute. The guys were heading back to New Orleans later that night. Baby still had a $900 tab for the weed I've given him. I had been appreciative of all the relationship building we had been doing, but I needed that 900. When he was like, "We're going to New Orleans tonight," my thought was, shit, I guess I'm going too because I'm going to get this money. We went down there and he had this big Cash Money mansion with a jacuzzi in the middle. Everybody was playing video games and kicking it. There was a lot of people around. Some I knew and others I didn't. I remember Mac 10 being around. I remember a bunch of Bloods being around. There were a lot of red cars around. This was back when they had the stretch PT Cruisers. I had been just hanging, peeping everything. And that's actually how I met Wayne. He came over to the house and me and him linked and smoked some real good pressure. That started our long-term friendship. During that time, I had been messing with this producer that me and Dollar found. When Dollar and I had this group play a circle, we went to a beat-making competition in Birmingham. I had been in the bathroom in this little club and I heard this beat. I walked out of the bathroom and the producer ended up being this guy, M16. I introduced myself and we started working together. He was nice with the beats. When it came to do a beat, he would ask me to describe the beat I wanted. He would ask me about the vibe, the sound, the feeling. That's not as easy as people think. It's not as easy to describe the beat you're looking for. And it's damn sure ain't easy to make a beat that somebody is describing to you. Around the end of 2006, Hove had this song, Show Me What You Got. I really liked that beat on the song, so I told M16 to make a beat like that, but to add organs. I told him to put some Pimp C in it. He went to his shed and made the beat I described. That's how we got the Duffel Bag Boy beat. Damn, that's a hard beat too. At this time, my current studio, Street Execs, which I'm part owner of, was owned by T.I. Wayne, had been in the studio working, which I'm a part owner of, by T.I. Wayne had been in the studio working. And that day I went to Lenox Square to do some shopping. I have always been into fashion. More in a couple chapters. Gucci, Louis, Prada, Bally. I have always been one of those guys. I was looking at shoes in one particular store, and they brought out these red Guccis with the fur on the inside. I thought to myself, damn, I got to get these for Shawty. Wayne used to wear Supras, like these skate shoes. He actually got me into wearing them, but I knew he would love the red Gucci, so I ended up getting them. I brought the shoes to the studio that day and gave them to him. I also brought the CD with M16 beat on it to him. I gave him the shoes, the beat, and went about my business. I remember Little Pee Wee being in the studio that day too. It was a good vibe in there. Time went on, and me and Wayne continued to develop a great relationship. Baby's house that I went to about a year ago with the jacuzzi had been flooded by Katrina. The whole neighborhood and most of New Orleans was underwater. Wayne and Baby had to move from Louisiana to Miami. When they got to Miami, Wayne had hit me like, come on down and fuck with me. I was definitely with it. I booked my flight and headed down. Something told me to do that. As soon as I landed, Cortez picked me up in a Maserati. He was driving, and Wayne was in the front seat. I sat in the back. It was just us three. We headed straight to the mall. Prada was hot at the time. We went into a shoe store, and Wayne, being the player that he was, bought him a pair of shoes. He then went over to the wall of Pradas and bought the whole wall in both his size and mine. God damn. He was like, give me all of them. While we was waiting for them to bring the Pradas out the back, he asked me, what you think about the song I did for you, the hook? I said, what hook? I had no idea what he was talking about. He said, Tez, what did you do with the song? Tez said he emailed it to me. I was so confused. I asked, what email? Tez told me the email address, but it wasn't the right one. He had sent the song to somebody else. I was like, damn, that ain't my email. And they was like, oh, shit. In the middle of the store, Wayne started using his hands to make the beat on his chest. He started trying to remember the hook. If I don't do nothing, I'm a ball. I'm counting all day like the clock on the wall. But he couldn't remember the rest. I couldn't believe it. The small part of the hook he remembered was fired. And the whole time the recording had been sitting in the inbox that wasn't mine. Wayne could tell I was feeling it and was like, fuck it. We're going to the studio. We left the mall, went right to the studio. When we got there, he played me the song with the hook on it. Duffel Bag Boy. He played the song and I told him, dang, that's hard. You did that for me, bro? And he was like, yeah. What I heard felt like a hit. I had never had one before, but I knew the song was different. And I knew people was definitely going to fuck with it. I went into a different room and called Dollar. I told Dollar, we got one, bro. We got one. He was like, what? We got one what? I didn't even have it on CD at the time. They gave me the hard drive of what Wayne had done. I went back to Atlanta a couple days later, not really remembering everything that happened in Miami, but remembering the feeling of knowing I was coming back home with a hit in my pocket. I remember calling everywhere to get studio time. Like I mentioned in an earlier chapter, we were signed to DTP, and I would need to book time through Luda's team. The first time I called to book time, they said not today. But the next time I called, they let me come over, and I played the song. Everybody agreed the song was hard. I had done my part. I remember Luda's manager, Shaka, saying something that caught Dollar's attention. He said, that's your man, right? Why is he talking about little Duffel Bad Boys? The way he said it made it seem like Wayne was trying to pee-wee us out on the hook. I remember thinking, how a dude gonna do a song for me, do a favor for me, and then diss me on a song? I didn't feel that way about the hook. I disagreed. Dollar, on the other hand, was like, fuck you, fuck Wayne, fuck everybody. He agreed with Shaka and didn't want to do the song. He left. Before he did, I was trying hard to persuade him to do it. I was like, bro, you need to do this. We're about to be gone. We're about to be up. Ironically, Luda said he'd do it, but I believed I could eventually get Dollar to do it. He had to. It was going to be Player Circle's first hit. Me and Dollar had been through too much not to do a song together. Dollar ended up doing the song. Duffel Bag Boy became a hit fast. Wayne went on tour and called me to see if I wanted to go on tour with him. I used my own money to join him on the tour. My voice told me to take the opportunity. I ended up building a tighter relationship with Wayne and Young Money, the whole family. That's how we got cool. That's how we became family. When I got off tour, I got back to 5540, and like I mentioned, I stopped selling packs cold turkey. I ended up doing a mixtape called True Religion. After that drop, I started getting so many opportunity calls from so many different people and artists. When it was time to start my own label, I couldn't think of anything else but True. It always had a deep meaning for me, TRU, the real you. My voice was telling me that no matter what I did in my career, I had to make sure I stayed true to myself. I had to get down to the nitty-gritty of who I was and what I represented. I knew the industry was full of flakes, full of vultures. I had to protect my integrity and authenticity at all costs. I want to speak on True, the record label I have. The acronym TRU means the real you, not to be confused with the legendary TRU No Limit, which I'll get back to because I had to educate someone how I would never take anyone else's idea or anyone else's identity. TRU came along with the rise of 2 Chainz. From Titty Boy's transition to 2 Chainz, many things happened. Relationships, traveling shows, and countless radio interviews. During the rise of 2 Chainz as my rap name and brand, I wore a lot of True Religion and the clothing company. I'm not sure exactly what it was about True Religion. I just liked the way the jeans drip. I was wearing True Religion all the time. After one long flight, while the plane was landing, I came up with the concept, what true means to me. I broke it down to me, the real you. Normally, when I get off a plane, I go straight to the bathroom. We wanted to recreate that moment since the idea came to me on the plane. We ended up doing a photo shoot at Atlantic Square prior to the closing. The picture was me at the urinal, my Louis Vuitton carry-on the side, and the True Religion logo on the back pocket of my pants. That photo became the cover for my world-renowned mixtape, TRU, Religion, TRU, the Real Legion. The study of being real is solid. I'm not talking about I'm a real nigga, cliche, but about honoring how we can be real and true to ourselves. Over the years, I have incorporated TRU into my raps and used True as ad-libs. When I signed it under my own company, I was honestly happy, and still I am happy in my own skin and able to look in the mirror and be thankful for what God has created. I'm thankful for where I came from, where I've been, and where I'm going. I never took anything from anybody. I am one of the most creative human beings God has put on this earth. As a matter of fact, I still have ideas. I'm sure people might say we all have ideas, but we all don't understand the power of a good idea. People buy ideas, people steal ideas, not me. I come up with my own ideas every day and it feels great. As a matter of fact, ideas are currency. And let me tell you, I'm rich as a motherfucker, man. I have my own ideas, my own identity. When I think about the real me, I think about the voice in my head, my soul, my spirit. Everything that's created this human being is the real me. I hope you're the real you too, because as they say, and we know it's cliche, everybody else is taken. I like that chapter, man. I like that chapter. What you think about that chapter? Ideas are currency. I come up with ideas all the time. And most of the time, my ideas that I come up with is way ahead of the game. For example, Listen, you look at my YouTube channel, I've been doing interviews for almost 17 years on my channel, right? What do you see now that's going on? Everybody has a podcast, everybody's doing interviews. It's crazy, right? I started a alkaline water brand in a glass bottle, right? 2019, no company had water in a bottle, in a glass, right? Everybody was looking at me crazy. 2019 to 2021, those were the best years of Juju water, hands down. God is good. I did amazing numbers. But now you look around, everybody has water in a glass. Like, damn, you know? Hey man, it's just what it is. I know I come up with good ideas. But now no idea is original. Everybody can come up with the same idea. It's about how you execute it and what you do to execute it, you know? So listen, if you made it this far in the video, make sure you leave a fire down in the comments, and we off to the next one.